Well, hello and welcome. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas to all. Hope you guys all had a Merry Christmas out there. Everybody who is listening to or watching, consuming in any other way this episode of the Silver and Black Coffee Hour, an Austin-based San Antonio Spurs podcast. There's a lot going on in Spurs world right now. I'm joined by my buddy Aaron Blackerby. Aaron, how you doing?
Tom, it's the day after Christmas. I'm doing great. We at the Silver and Black Coffee Hour here are boldly going where no other Spurs podcast has gone before. And to truly show that, I would like to introduce our other colleague and friend, Zach Montana. Zach, how are you doing today?
I'm just here paying homage to the great Luke Cornett,
Icon
Shicey,
status.
and Robe. They say white boys can't have motion. They lie.
It's no Chrome
so I
Hearts,
got-
but you're looking good, Zach. I like this ninja look.
Thank you.
I
Thank
got a
you.
little bit of, because obviously Thunder this week. There's been a lot of talk about Chet Holmgren, and I had a Thunder fan accuse me and Spurs fans at large of hating a white boy with a little motion. I was like, come on now, Matt Bonner,
Yeah.
Luke Cornett, and
Steve
like
Kerr.
I had the thing. I had the thing in my brain where it's like, a Chrysler 300 looks like a Phantom till a Phantom pulls up, and it's Luke Cornett standing next to Chet Holmgren. Like that's what a white boy with a little bit of motion actually looks like. Shout out to Luke Cornett, icon. We read a really good profile on him.
Hold on, Tom.
He's so funny.
Speak.
He's so damn funny.
Speaking of our enemies like Chet Holmgren, like and subscribe, comment in the show. You got questions for the next episode? Drop them in the chat. And further, tell your friends, tell your enemies about the Silver and Black Coffee Hour. The Spurs are apparently the best team in the NBA right now. And so we want to invite all people who are ready to be a part of this, follow along. We're kind of doing a little holiday hours, being a little remote. Also, Zach and I, though we're not on a minutes restriction, if you were to put up an injury report right now, we would be like congested as hell. So,
Illness.
but we're here for y'all. We're here for the greater Spurs community and pushing through this shit. I got Sudafed and Mucinex and water all up in me right now, so I'm ready to heal.
Flowing.
Okay, I feel it. I'm I'm battling a little bit of I haven't really been getting like the best like 8 hours of sleep. We got some puppies here. The obvious solution is, don't let the dogs just run roughshod over the entire house at all hours. But then you can't cuddle with them. And so it's but what you guys are going through also sounds pretty rough. So,
We're pushing
Nothing
through.
worse than trying to sleep with a stuffy nose. That's all I'm gonna say. But
that's true. It's true.
a very
I'm glad you
good
guys
week.
are making the sacrifice and being here because we do have some pretty big happenings in Spurs world.
Just some little.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Tom thinks it's some big happenings. Zach thinks it's some little happenings. We'll discuss on today's episode. Zach, why don't we just jump into
the little things that are so big. The smallest wife.
Why don't we get into Zach? I'm not gonna lie. This first game from the week, not that it's inconsequential. Any win is consequential, but it was against one of the worst teams. I'm going 24 seconds.
No, you can give me 14 seconds. We're getting an offensive rebound, and we got to restart the shot clock at 14. I can get this done in 14.
All right, Zach, I'm giving you 14 seconds on the shot clock. I have a feeling you're going to do it in 15. Let's go.
All right. A slow start for the Spurs, a big second quarter, allowed them to coast all the way at home on this one. A take care of business type of game. To get everyone in gear for the big week ahead. De'Aaron Fox, 27 points, 7 for 19 from the floor. Luke Cornett, 20 and 12, first 20-point double his career. We're done.
All right.
Wait.
I think we got that in 15.
can I do one anecdote from this story? Because yeah, playing game against the Wizards pretty inconsequential, but it did give us a really fun Wemby moment in this one where uh, Tristan Vucevic blocked him. Vucevic, who was a second round pick in that same draft, right? And Sean and Jacob on the broadcast are talking about like that's a story to tell the grandkids. And as they're saying that, he got 29 seconds of real time to think about, wow, I just blocked Victor Wembanyama. I'm going to tell this story to my grandkids. And Sean Elliott is like, you're going to tell this story to your grandkids. Hey, kids, did I ever tell you about the time I blocked Victor Wembanyama? And as he's saying that, Victor Wembanyama established position in the post, spin move, dunked on his head, and like hangs on the rim just a little bit for safety, he could plausibly claim. Uh, and he made sure that this story that Vucevic is going to tell his grandkids includes that 30 seconds later, Wemby dunked on him. I
Yeah,
think that's funny. I think that really speaks to his mindset.
I mean, to that point, Tom, Wemby, and we'll use this to transition to the two big games of the week, but Wemby has made a habit this last week of if you do something to him and he dunks on your head, he's hanging on that rim just long enough to not get a technical, but riding on someone's shoulders, or in this case with Vucevic, he held onto it and he was just staring at him the entire time. I mean, bro is coming for
It's
the
so
league
that
off
he
the
can
bench,
it's so that he can safely return down to earth
of course.
is what I'm sure he would say if he was asked about it. And that's the thing. Victor Wembanyama understands the value of plausible deniability. Smart guy. Very smart guy.
Yeah. Tom, you want to go into I mean, all three of us went to the game together.
Yes.
And shout out
We
to Isaac Levi Ribonette, who also carpooled with Tom and I from the Ringer. We had a nice little
yes.
boys trip with him. We got to get Isaac on the show sometime soon. He's such a great dude. Um,
And we should start doing a car cast on the way home from these games when we're all together in one of our chariots. Not mine until I get my tire fixed.
that was Isaac's
You said on the
idea.
last
Yeah.
you said on the last show, AB, we gotta all take good care of our cars. And then I get a flat tire.
Shit out.
Coincidence? Coincidence? I think not.
AB's fault.
Uh,
I wasn't riding with
Whatever.
Tom
I forgive you.
yesterday when he got, that.
Mm.
I would never sabotage Tom's car.
That's
Mm.
true. That's true. I'm too important.
It's true.
But we all were down there, right? And it was an important game for us to all be at for a few reasons. One, um, this was one of the only home games that the Spurs have played in the last 30 days. Uh, they were playing against the defending champs, who they beat once in a close game, and everybody talking about this matchup going into the game is like, is this a rivalry? Is this a rivalry yet? Does this count as a rivalry technically? Is it a rivalry? And I'm just gonna say, I think that's a dumb question. I think that it is very obviously a rivalry, and I think that what we learned this week is that it is already leaped past all of the other current active rivalries in the NBA and become the most entertaining and consequential rivalry in the sport. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me, but I don't think I am. Because these teams, in addition to having all of the classic elements, right? They don't like each other. They're close. They're playing each other a lot. Uh, Familiarity breeds contempt, all of that. But these are the two best teams in the NBA right now. Uh, and the Spurs have proved their belonging in that class, starting with this win against the Thunder, who came in. It was the second night of back-to-back for the Thunder, but still, this was notable game for many reasons. Super physical from the Spurs. Everybody went right at Chethu, like, and it sort of it occurred to me as I myself was intentionally calling him by the wrong name. I was like, man, they are treating him like the Pawnee Parks and Rec Department treats Jerry Gergich right now. Like just like they hate this guy. Everybody hates this guy. I thought like, we all knew Wemby hated this guy. We all knew Wemby uh, believes himself to be leagues above Chet Holmgren, and rightfully so. But like Harrison Barnes posted him up. Keldon Johnson went right through his face. Luke Cornett killed him on a lob, and gave us another awesome reaction moment.
It's
Connor, you
a
know one of the
Um,
stats? The stat of what the of his defending was on Tuesday night? Spurs were 8
and
for 12 against him all
yeah,
night.
they went right at him. Who like when Wemby was out, people were talking about Chet Defensive Player of the Year. I think we can kind of not to make too much of one game, but I don't.
We can make
The
it
Spurs certainly
two
didn't
happen
treat
this
him
week,
like
Tom.
that.
Happened twice this week.
Spurs weren't treating him like a defensive player of the year. This was, and then on the other end of the floor, right? The Thunder didn't look like the Thunder because they were afraid of Victor Wembanyama. Um, they were not attacking the way they normally do. Huge free throw disparity in this game, largely because the Thunder were unwilling to test Victor Wembanyama in the paint. Wemby, another like this is the first game in over 100 where he didn't get a block. So that was a funny little moment. He would obviously trade that for the win for the moment that he got with the crowd at the end of the game, banging the drum, everybody clapping. Felt like something, like you could feel it. Keldon Johnson leads the team with 25 points. Fitting that it was Keldon because it was a huge like energy game, right? Keldon was the seventh different leading scorer in the at the time 7 game winning streak that the Spurs were on, which is
Dom.
the longest that they've had in
It's
years.
a factual 7 game, now 8 game winning streak. Just
Funniest moment of the week. So I asked Mitch Johnson about the variety before the game, and I said that you guys are technically on a 6 game winning streak, and Spurs PR director Tom James, uh, who like he's normally like just a fly on the wall and very quiet in those things. And he stepped in. He was like, factually, it is a 6 game winning streak. I was like, it is technically and factually a 8 game winning streak. Um, but this is this is how dominant this win was for the Spurs, and this is how rare it is for that to happen to this Thunder team. First 20-point deficit that the Thunder have faced all season long. That is kind of insane. Saw a stat from Mike C. Wright and ESPN's numbers people that the Thunder have trailed the Spurs by 10 points for about a half hour this season. It's more time than they have spent trailing by 10 or more points against the entire rest of the league. Um, the the other crazy part about this to me is that it was not nearly close to a dominant game or even an average game for Wemby or Fox. If you take away the points from De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama, the Spurs still beat the Thunder in this game. Uh, that's pretty dumb. That's pretty dumb. Keldon, Steph Castle, Harrison Barnes, all over 20 points. Uh, I mean, what did you guys take away from this one? Just
well,
like
I mean, playoff like atmosphere in San Antonio, first and foremost. There was just a buzz in the arena. I mean, I don't think I've truly felt that in a few years. Last year, that last game against Toronto, I felt like there was a little bit of a buzz because it was kind of like, oh, this is like a announcement of what's to come. But that game, the first game in San Antonio against them, there was just something that was so nostalgic. I think I tweeted like, this is like first round playoff energy, and that's still a good thing, by the way, of just like oh, we're good. We have a chance to win. Like we're like the crowd was confident about the win, and I can't say that's always been the case. Further, the Jackals and the operations team are doing an immaculate job of helping keep everybody engaged on that. And then, dude, Chet Holmgren got bullied in this game. And it's one thing to get stuffed in a locker in high school and have like five, six people like point and laugh at you. It's kind of another to get bullied in this game and have 20,000 people pointing and laughing at you. And I think really
And it wasn't just the captain of the football team that was doing it to him. He had people from the AV club and the set design for the school
The
play
rocketry
were
team
giving
was
him
beating on him.
look,
swirlies.
and look, this game, uh, when the run really happened for the Spurs, it was after Keldon popped him in the face. I
Mhm.
mean, it was like Keldon popped him in the face, then
And then Wimby shoved
well,
him.
that's what I was gonna say. And then the next time down, Wemby shoved him. Sadly, Wemby does not have the chicken wing of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. It's a little more when you have an 8 foot wingspan, it's not as subtle. But pushing him down, taking 2 steps and a windmill dunk, it's definitely sending a message. So this
And
one,
again, plausible deniability. He could have said, "Oh, listen, it was so loud. I didn't hear the whistle.
bro, I mean,
I
you do a
just."
windmill dunk. Come on, you know exactly what you're doing. Like,
So, so Tommy, bring up not hearing the whistle, and AB brought up the playoff atmosphere. There's a few things I want to touch on. The Spurs held the OKC Thunder to 7 free throws on that game on Tuesday night. I do want to credit a lot of the defending that I saw on from the Spurs. They doubled a ton on the baseline there in the second half with SGA, and I heard it, and I just imagine like your SGA and that's his spot. He loves getting the baseline and hitting that fadeaway. And the Spurs countered that by sending Wimby and Luke Cornett at him and doubling him in that corner. And that's a hard kick out to make. You kind of limit yourself on angles to get yourself out of that position. So the Spurs really figured that out. The last 2 games, they did that repetitively on SGA when he started to get going. And I do love what the defense at Steph Castle, Julian Champagny, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, these guys, they were throwing bodies at him all night. And disciplined defense, hands down. Don't jump up, don't jump forward. Just put a hand in his face, make it difficult. And to go with that, not hearing the whistle, I can tell you there was multiple times in that game where the whistle was blown and we could not hear it up in the media section, and that tells you that this. And I can't tell you how many times that's happened in a Spurs game. That tells you that these fans were in it. They were in the game. The OKC Thunder called a timeout 10 minutes into the first quarter, and everyone stood up. Everyone was clapping. Everyone was riled up. And I was like, hmm, this is a Spurs basketball I grew up on where everyone was engaged, everyone was locked in. That's the type of stuff that brings chills when you're in there and you're like, ooh, this feels good.
totally. Well, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna bump into our Christmas Day game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, look, Christmas Day, middle afternoon showcase, right after a really entertaining Knicks Cavs game. And I think as fans, we're like, okay, like going to OKC, this is kind of the next test. And to kind of keep going off the playoff analogy and atmosphere, this felt like a playoff game again in the sense of when you get to the playoffs and you're going into game anywhere from 5 to 7, but you've just found something out. And so there's just a mental edge. There's a confidence now in the team. And being, man, I don't know about y'all, but I thought this felt like one of those like closeout playoff games in the sense that the Spurs were like, I know exactly how to beat you and I'm going to do it. And in that first quarter,
A game six, as you say, on the road.
something like that. But I mean, it's like came out, knew that the Thunder were going to throw a big, haymaker punch at the beginning. They did. Spurs weathered it great. Everybody was shooting pretty lights out in that first half, especially. And then the Spurs just took over the game. I mean, it was dominant. I thought the OKC crowd was actually pretty quiet. It really feels like the Spurs figured something out against them. And look, I got to say one thing. It's the first loss for OKC in their home barn. Tom had a really funny responsive tweet with an OKC fan saying, like, okay, you got us on a neutral court and you got us on your home court, but can you get us at home? Check. So Wemby had 19 and 11 in this game. Instead of, well, he had a couple of dunks that were like statements, but I'd say his 3-point shooting was more the statement in this game. And further with this one, y'all, just pretty dominant through the whole thing. The Thunder in the fourth, like, took a couple of like tried to get it within 9, but the Spurs are just so impressive with this win. 3 wins against the best team in the NBA in the last 2 weeks. And before that NBA Cup, there was discussion around the league of like, could this be the greatest team ever? Could they break the wins record? And look, they had a different net differentiator against top 10 teams. I think they were number 6 in net rating against the top 10. So impressive win again for the team. So much so that there's so much conversation just from Christmas Day. I mean, like, we're recording this the next day on the 26th. Shout out to Boxing Day and anyone in Canada celebrating today about this win. Is there anything else you guys want to add to this one?
I think this it felt weird, right? Like that second half felt like the Thunder understood more or less that the Spurs might be the better team on the basketball court and might match up extremely well with them all on all areas of the floor. And I think for a team like that who have been riding on a high, who have been asked questions multiple and had to answer, hey, compare yourself to the 96 Bulls and the 2000, these Warrior teams, and they're answering with a lot of confidence. Look at the Jalen Williams response that he had at the NBA Cup before playing the Spurs. A lot of confidence. These guys aren't shy. They believed in that too. And you
Dude,
get punched in the mouth once, fine. Punched in the mouth twice, fine. Punched in the mouth the third time. SGA said that this Spurs team is a better team.
hey, one thing, shout out to SGA for saying that, by the way. That's like good on him. I think that's actually like a great mentality to have. And I got to tell you, I think one of the funniest, either ironic parts of this is that remember those old Spurs teams that were on like 16, 20 game winning streaks and they were just really humming. This was like post beautiful game 2014. Um, they would come into OKC and they would get beat down despite all the ball movements, despite all of it, because it was like, well, this team has Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Serge Ibaka, young Steven Adams at the time, and it was like this team is just faster, younger, and more athletic than you, and ready to punch you in the mouth, and is not in the slightest like intimidated by you. And not that the Thunder are young, they are athletic too, but for the Spurs to come in and be younger, hungrier, the more athletic team than this team, impressive. And look, regardless of what happens in the last two games against the Thunder, which are coming up in January and February, by the way, we won the season series against them. Like,
It's
so
over.
So I've got a few things here, um, because Kevin McAllister, first of all, he was a sadist, but second of all, he had home court, right? He knew every nook and cranny of that house. The Wet Bandits were at a disadvantage in that sense. The Spurs went into Oklahoma City's crib and set a bunch of Home Alone traps and then lit them on fire with a blowtorch. This was like supposed to be, oh, Oklahoma City, like, we finally get a Christmas game. We had to win a championship to get respected enough to get a Christmas game. And everybody in Oklahoma City drove home sad. It was like, the Spurs are the fly in the ointment, the monkey in the wrench, as John McClane would say. Uh, couple things on the
Hold
basketball
on,
here.
Tom. I need you to have one
Um,
more movie analogy as you go into the couple things on the court that you want to bring up.
sure, sure. It's like when Clark Griswold like ordered a pool and thought he was getting a nice fat Christmas bonus, and instead got a Jelly of the Month Club subscription. Um,
By the
on a
way,
related
my favorite
note,
Christmas movie of all time.
incredible movie. And then so you know that like if I was Mitch Johnson in the huddle, I'd be like, you know what I want for Christmas? I want Thunder forward Lugensdort delivered right here to my living room. And like the guy to go get him, the crazy Uncle Eddie of this team is Jeremy Sohan. I That's my adjustment for the next game that they play Oklahoma City. Get Jeremy Sohan in there for a few minutes against Lou Dort because that guy is doing jujitsu out there. Lou Dort is the thing that scares me the most about the Oklahoma City Thunder right now because he is out there like going right for Wemby's legs like over and over again. Like the flopping like 3-point shot kick out stuff in
Oh, he pulled him down
the
the other day. It wasn't just a
That
flop.
one
It
against
was
Harrison Barnes was horrible, even worse.
it's terrible. And then there's a play in the Christmas game where Wemby's getting boxed out. He's getting boxed out by one guy. He's getting boxed in by another guy. And then Lou Dort just like takes a running flying knee at him. And it's like that's not basketball. That's just violence. So, Lou Dort, watch yourself. Don't be doing that. I know that you're upset because Thunder fans are saying that you're the third best perimeter defender on the team and like you haven't been shooting well. Don't try to make yourself useful by hurting your rival's golden goose, all right? Uh let's not do that. But Wemby, like for his part, he's the hatred, the psychological warfare against Chet Holmgren. Chip misses the first free throw after a hard foul from Wemby.
yeah.
Hell yeah. And then like Wemby put his hands out. He doesn't look at Chet. He looks at the crowd. He's like, "This is your king?" And then he misses the second one. It was good. It was Shea shoved Wemby. It was chippy. There
Did
there was
you
a little like,
Well,
ruining Christmas
well,
dinner.
guys, we're already running along, and Tom, you have a really fun segment that I think we need to jump to. So I'm going to let you introduce it here.
Yeah. Sometimes sometimes high praise isn't enough. We do high praise on this show, and high praise is great. But, you know, that's good for when it's like an average team or a pretty good team. Um, we've gone past that. And so now we need to enter something which I have decided to call the hyperbolic chamber, right? Uh, we go into this safe and controlled space and say something that sounds insane, but you actually kind of believe it deep in your in your bones. So, like I'm gonna start. Uh, I saw Thunder fans asking me, like, man, why do the Spurs have our number this year? I think I have the answer. I think it's because the San Antonio Spurs are just simply flat out not just a bad matchup for the Thunder, but a better basketball team right now. It that might sound insane. It definitely would have sounded insane if I said it in the preseason, or even 2 weeks ago, or even a week ago. I cannot ignore two consecutive games of belt to behind. I can't ignore it. I think they're just the best team in the league right now. And this last month, where they are, I think, 10-1 in games that count, including 3 wins over these Thunder, including that cup run. I think this is one of the most impressive months of regular season basketball I have ever seen from this Spurs team in any year, period. all on the road pretty much. This is the good stuff, man. If you're doing a power ranking, I don't see how San Antonio's not at the top of it. Tell me I'm wrong.
Uh, I don't think you're wrong, but I still think you're hedging your bets when this is the hyperbolic chamber, Tom, because you're saying right now. I think,
Yeah, no.
if you're like, here, I'm going to go next. This team's going to the Western Conference Finals. That's my hyperbolic chamber. Like, what reason do we have right now to see them not go to the Western Conference Finals? They've taken down the Nuggets without Wemby, by the way, taken down the Thunder 3 times. They had that wonky game with the Lakers, but the Lakers don't play defense anymore. And JJ Redick is calling out his team in every press conference that he gets. Look, we've taken down the Rockets. Um, can't see why we're not a bad matchup for every team in the league. Doesn't mean we're going to win every game. I will say that. But damn, to be to only have 7 losses on the season at this point of the year is kind of insane. And
73-9 still in play.
yeah, and I mean, look, this is just something.
74-8 even.
Yeah,
Lucky guy over here.
this team right now is. I thought, a few weeks ago they were like at least a year ahead of schedule. Now I'm feeling like, okay, you're actually 2 years ahead of schedule. If I'm saying with my chest, like, y'all should be in the Western Conference Finals. I mean, this is not any. I don't. No one expected this. Even talking to Mitch Johnson, like when people were asking him, the other day, like, what were your expectations? Like, well, we just wanted to be a little better than last year. I'm like, Mitch, great job at kind
Did
of
it.
talking. Like, you did it, like, great job. But to this extent with this team, this has been so impressive. So, Zach, I feel like you are perfect for this segment.
Oh, this is my segment. I read it this morning. I was like, let's fucking go. I know exactly what I'm gonna say on this. I want confetti in June. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want confetti in June. Don't introduce me to a vibe you can't maintain. This is maintainable. This team can play basketball. This team is here to play with whoever. Bring whoever you want. Our own worst enemy is ourselves. Bring whoever you want. This team is ready. I want confetti in June. I want the Larry. I want number 6. Race for Sace is back
Are
on.
you feeling love bombed by this team? Just you had such an interesting phrase there of don't
You
maintain a
so
vibe you can't be consistent with.
therapy speak on the basketball court.
No, this team is love bombing me, and I'm love bombing them right back.
Oh man, that's
The-
so good.
I love. So here's the thing about why I don't think that's quite as insane as other people might. Um, before these last 2 weeks, right? After the Cup game, right? If you asked people in the Thunder's orbit, right? Like, do you think that the Spurs could beat you in a 7-game series? They would have said probably not. Yes, me, I would have said probably not. Um, but the effect of they've beaten this team 3 times now, and the Spurs look as untouchable now as the Thunder looked in the beginning of the season, and Wemby's still coming off the bench, right? Um, I think 2 weeks ago you could say it would shock me if the Spurs won a title this year. If you poll NBA media people today, I think they would probably put the Spurs up into that tier of it would not shock me with
Well,
just the Thunder and the Nuggets.
well, Tom, as of today, the Spurs have the number 1 net rating in the league. That's as of today. Fifth best offense, 4th best defense.
Someone's
That's all
looking
you
at
need to
Kirk
know.
Goldsberry's efficiency
It
landscape.
just popped. It just popped up right here on my
Is
list.
that
I said,
over the
"Oh, here we."
last 10 games
Yeah, it's
That's
last
or
full
10.
season. It,
He usually does
no,
last
it's full
10.
season.
Full season.
No,
Okay.
it's full season.
Well, I don't want to be a full-on wet blanket to that, y'all, but what I'll say to this is that the season ebbs and flows. Um, and I'm still looking at the Spurs schedule, and January does not lighten up. It's going to be pretty road heavy again. There's going to be 15 games in January, by the way.
Wow.
That's a lot of basketball. There's going to be a few back to backs. We're going to play the Timberwolves again. We're going to have a game against the Thunder. And what I'm saying to that is that like typically, and we are a part of this. We're, a media conglomerate, part of the Boris Yeehaw Productions. Um, and we're always looking for things to talk about throughout the season. And we saw the first 20 games. It was like Thunder are going to this team is inevitable for the league. Look, the Thunder were taken to 7 by the Pacers last year. The Pacers were a good team. They're going to be a good team next year when Tyrese Halliburton's back. So it's not like this team has been fully inevitable, but like there's hyperbole that you have to talk about. And right now the Spurs are riding high on this. And I kind of will echo Zach's sentiments on like how consistent do you remain with this? How are you going to there's still problems with rebounding. The Spurs were out rebounded yesterday by the Thunder despite the 15-point win. Um, there were Alex Caruso went what like 2 of 11 from the corners. So like there are still things to clean up. Wemby's still coming off the bench. Uh, there
Can
there's
I can
potential
I
for all
interject
things.
here though?
Please.
Because what you're saying here honestly just fills me with that much more confidence. This team is basically in third gear right now. Like the Spurs are like nowhere near punching it. And they they have a pretty clear path to getting there, I think. So, I don't know. I think the fact that they are doing this while they are playing really so far away from what their peak is, even with this roster this year, like, and they're the best team in the NBA right now. That's crazy. That's pretty crazy. I
Not
think you
not
said
denying that.
something.
I'm just saying like when we zoom out a little more big picture here, that the ebbs and flows of the season happen. There is going to be a time, and there's going to be a time where this team doesn't look so good or falls off a little bit. And you know what? If that doesn't happen, guess what? We'll bring back accountability segment, and I will eat some crow on this. But I'm just saying, like I looked ahead to like the January schedule, and I was like, okay, this is still tough. Um,
Well, you
there's
said that the schedule doesn't lighten up, though. And I think that the only way that that's true is if we're no longer impressed by the Thunder. And you know what? Maybe we shouldn't be. Maybe we shouldn't be. You brought the Pacers took them to 7 games. If Tyrese Halliburton's leg doesn't explode, like, do they even win that title? You know, right? Like, there's that, and now the Spurs have beaten them 3 times in 2 weeks, and it's like, oh, maybe they like. I can't believe we were putting these guys in 73-9 Warriors conversations. Like they're good, but they got some serious problems. And if you guys are all right, going to our next thing here, I think that brings me to my first question of the week, right? Uh, Do the Thunder need to consider a Giannis trade? And I'm only kind of trolling here. Like I'm saying it because I know that it's gonna make my Oklahoma neighbors upset, but also I think there's probably plenty of them who are calling for it, right?
the fact that the Spurs beat him so badly is the reason why this question is being asked. You'd probably package Chet, back up north for that with like a couple first round picks or something. Um, I mean, I don't know, but the fact, like I said, the fact that the question is being asked is kind of a testament to like how bad they were beaten, specifically on the physical sense, against the Spurs. So,
Look, the Spurs made OKC clear the bench twice. Twice. They had guys coming off the bench that hadn't seen this court all year in losing situations. Only when they're up 20, not down 20. To be honest, I couldn't give a fuck about the OKC Thunder anymore. That's my answer.
He's out. He's out.
Yeah, give
He
me a
said
give
this
me a
is
new rival.
beneath me. Yeah, fun rivalry while it lasted.
Two
Um,
weeks.
but yeah, so again, think about how much has changed in 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks ago, people were talking about the Spurs could put together a good package for Giannis, and like they're probably building for long term. But if they want to take a shot at this Thunder team right now, they could do it. Um, Nobody considered the Thunder as a possible destination because they were playing so good. You know, why upset the apple cart? Now, the Spurs have exposed a Giannis-sized hole in the Thunder. Chet Holmgren is not going to be that guy that goes toe-to-toe with Victor Wembanyama. And you might need a guy that goes toe-to-toe with Victor Wembanyama, and there's not a lot of those guys. Shea and Giannis would fit well together, you know? And yeah, I agree. If it's for anybody, it's Wemby bullying Chet all the way up to Milwaukee. Um, but like something that was crazy 2 weeks ago now sounds like it actually kind of makes a lot of sense for the Thunder to do.
True. Well, let's jump to the next question. Tom asked this actually yesterday on his Twitter. He's basically wanting to know how many guards drafted in the last 5 years are currently better than Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle. Basically, we're continuing the hyperbolic chamber here, but I do really like this question just in kind of digging
But we're
down to it.
not though.
We are and we're not. Both things are true. I mean, Zach, what do you think on this?
I mean, we all kind of had the same answers on this. It's Ant, Cade, and Tyrese Maxey. I mean, that's the only three guys that I can sit there and confidently say that in 2 years' time are going to be better than both these guys. I saw a tweet last night from a basketball breakdown who he does a lot of good stuff on Twitter, a lot of bad stuff on Twitter. It's kind of mixed bag, but he's saying how far off are we talking from Steph Castle being the best American basketball player? And I'm like, whoa.
Awesome. That he is hyperbolic chamber above all of us.
And
That
I
is
was like,
awesome.
whoa there. And then someone commented, 2028 Olympics, USA, Steph Castle versus Wimby in the finals. Oh, that is what we want to see.
Man,
That is what we want to see.
I so I'm a little more longer winded on this. I think I'm with you on Edwards and Maxie and Cade. I'm also going to put Tyrese Halliburton there, and then I'm going to throw out a couple others that will be good for the sake of argument. Um, Look, Josh Giddey. It's not necessarily in a good situation, but he's become a really good player. Scotty Barnes. He's actually listed as a forward slash guard, and J Dub, a part of the Oklahoma City Thunder. To your point, though, the fact of the matter is that it doesn't seem like there's that many from what was drafted. There's like a Davion Mitchell out there that was also drafted, as a guard. Um, this is maybe something like later on in the season we talk about like this backcourt as a whole, where it ranks amongst the league. But right now, man, I mean, the Slash brothers are electric. You have anything else to add, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, so like Ant obviously uh, that was 2020 draft though. So like
Five
Ant,
years.
uh,
5 years. Devin Vassell's in that draft too.
Devin
We're
Vassell
still
is in that
technically
draft.
2025, so apologies for
I had set the cutoff to deliberately exclude this draft because I was trying to make a point. But you know, Ant Hallie, yes, sure. Maxi, I'll put him up there. But like, I mean, those other players that you mentioned, Aaron, they're good players. They're also wings to me. Like the Scotty, in no basketball conversation am I ever going to be like, yeah, guard Scotty Barnes. You know,
That's fair.
Amen Thompson is a forward playing guard in a similar way. I think he's got more guard chops, right? Um, but like just when you close your eyes and picture basketball guard, I think it's Mr. Cake Honeyham, and that's it on this list. uh, which is insane. Like the Spurs got Victor Wembanyama, and then in the next two drafts, they got two of the best guards of the last 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that.
Pretty dumb.
Well,
Pretty dumb.
I mean, last question we have here. 30 games in. We're still not even halfway through the season, which is kind of insane when you really think about it, like all the abundance that this team has brought already. But what are some things that people got wrong about this team entering into the season? Oh, Zach wants to go off. I see it.
I want to ask y'all a question,
Hold on,
and this
Zach.
is
We
this
were
is it. No,
asking
no,
another
no, no, no. This is
question.
this is this is to answer the question. This is to answer the question. How many times in your NBA, in your basketball watching career, your basketball playing career, youth sports, high school sports, pickup, have you played a basketball game, 7 games, where there's 7 different players that score and that are the leading scorers? How many times do you see that happen
Not
Just
in
one.
often.
any level of basketball?
Not often.
Okay, so I think what was wrong about this team was the depth. Is of course people were confused, and to go on further is the depth in the backcourt, the three-headed monster that the Spurs have. There's a lot of questions. Hey, what are they gonna do? Well, what they're gonna do is they're always gonna have two of these guys on the court at the same time, and you can have to pick and choose your poison. And they all bring different skills to the game that mesh with each other, that make this easier for everybody else on the court. You remember when the Spurs had Manu and Tony on the court together and how easy it was for everybody else around. We are seeing similar type stuff when these, whoever you want, Steph with Fox, Steph with Harper, Harper with Fox. This depth on this team is unreal. That is why I asked that question, because you asked that and you're like, wait, 7 players. Normally you go too deep on a team that kind of fluctuate. Oh, this guy leads tonight. This guy leads tonight. No, anybody can get it at any time from anybody on this roster.
Yeah, we talked about this about the state of the league is now not really about having three, like a big three. It's about having your talent spread out. We'll also say Silver and Black Coffee Hour has been talking about the depth of this team since last year. Just FYI for any new folks out there, if you're worried about like our bona fides. I am also going to just bring up how everybody was like, oh no, they have too many playmakers on their team. Pause for a second and just listen to like what you were saying. They have too
I'm
many
sorry, sir.
playmakers.
Was your steak too juicy?
Yeah, like to Zach's point. Oh, you know what you need to make sure you do as a basketball team? Make sure you handcuff yourself at least for anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes of a game without putting out a ball handler on the court. Okay. Um, just sounds like cavemen just discovered like the power of the wheel type you know, thinking there. Just saying, like, look at these guys. Dylan Harper right now. I don't really think he's ever going to miss a layup, and now he's finding some more spring in his step with some dunks. But then further, there was this discussion of like, oh my God, they can't shoot. Well, Harrison Barnes is shooting around 40% from three. Uh, De'Aaron Fox in the last 10 games is shooting 41.1% from three per 48. Stephon Castle, someone who everybody was like, you know, if he gets a shot, it's over for the league. Guess what? In the last 10 games per 48, Stephon Castle is shooting 38.2% from three, including 75% in that game against the Thunder where he went 3 of 4 from three. Just saying, you're giving Stephon Castle room, he's going to work your ass. So I just kind of think that that was an incredibly boneheaded way to think about things. Um, I'm not going to name any names. There's definitely one national media pundit that I'm looking at though.
You
Um,
can name it. I don't
no,
care.
no, we're not here to start that type of beef, but Zach and Tom know
I
exactly
love
who I'm talking about.
I know.
I love when somebody's like, I'm not gonna say it, but there's something I want to say.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
like, thank you for telling us about your restraint. Appreciate it.
You know,
You're,
there's this trend that's going on right now called vague posting, so I'm just vague commenting at the
ooh,
moment.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I like that vague posting. I'm gonna start doing it more. Okay, just keep an air of mystery about me. Um,
What do you got,
Something
Tom?
I want to be specific about, though, is that people were wrong about Mitch Johnson. Um, and I understand why. The the Popovich coaching tree is full of thick and sturdy branches that have already borne fruit. You know, uh, there are known quantities in the NBA and WNBA that have had tremendous amounts of success, right? And when Greg Popovich had to step away from coaching this team, I think a lot of people were hoping that one of those more familiar names would take the helm and be that next person, right? A lot of people didn't know what to expect from Mitch Johnson. We know now, and it's awesome. Um, he has done a tremendous job all season long. Variety of injuries he's had to deal with. Uh, he, I asked him a semi-related question just about like wear and tear, basically, and he gave a really good answer about like what they're trying to do. We talked about it on the last show. It's intense. Every moment of it is intense, and there is, as he put it, nowhere to conserve energy. Right. In that way, he is that sort of spiritual successor to Pop in his own unique way, in a way that really fits modern basketball in a in his own right. He's an amazing coach. I think he's a coach of the year candidate for sure. I think he might be the front runner at this point.
No argument here. Well, fellas, between now and the next time we record the show, we have quite a few slated games, and they're at home, which is what a change of pace for this team. Um,
Unbelievable.
I know we talked about this in the last show already, so we can probably keep this one a little more quick. But tomorrow night, Utah Jazz coming to San Antonio. Keontae George once again plays pretty well. Lauri Markkanen, this guy plays pretty well, showcasing himself for trade bait for Danny Ainge to try and ask for the moon and hit the stars or something. I don't know. But apparently Lauri Markkanen likes Salt Lake City, so I don't know if it's similar to Finland or whatever. Regardless, I just don't think this is a team to sleep on still. They do cough up the ball about 15 times per game, so that could mean some really fun acrobatics from Stefan Castle in this game on the break. Could be De'Aaron Fox once again really getting things going. And let's just throw in this. I'm going to just make a quick prediction on this one. Um, Stefan Castle is going to get a steal, and Wemby is going to be on the court with him. And as Stefan Castle races down, he's going to throw it off the backboard, and Wemby is going to windmill an alley oop into the basket. This should be a good win, but you know they're the Jazz. They've had some good
AB a
games out
cat.
there.
AB casually calling for an off the
It's
backboard
a
alley oop windmill dunk. Yeah.
very specific predict. Did you have a vision?
Can I get a quarter? A quarter on that?
Third,
If you're gonna. Oh, okay, thank you for that, AB. Appreciate that. We'll mark that down. I have a. This team gets a lot of boards, and they move the ball a lot. They top five in assists, top five in rebounds, but their field goal percentage is absolute dookie. So you just better hope you don't catch them on a hot night and take care of business.
So, absolutely agree. TCOB game. Got to make sure you're properly motivated, right? And so for that, I think they need to read some Vernon Maxwell tweets.
Did you see the
Uh,
one yesterday?
I did see the one yesterday, and reminder, yesterday was Christmas Day. People are hanging out with their families, watching NBA basketball, spreading good tidings and cheer, making the Yuletide gay, and all of that. And here comes Vernon Maxwell, the greatest hater, maybe of all time, specifically as it pertains to the state of Utah. He says, Donovan Mitchell reminds me of someone who was wrongly incarcerated for many years and is now free and has a new lease on life. I know being in Cleveland isn't anything to be proud of, but it's still
Jesus.
better than being in Utah. Merry Christmas, my people. Amazing. Like that that's incredible. That is incredible posting.
Man, I mean, look, they got Zion National Park. There's some good skiing and snowboarding there. Like, we don't have to come after the state. You can come after the
It's
team, you know?
it's very pretty. It's very pretty out there in Utah.
Yeah. I mean, Post Malone
And
was living
thanks
there sobering up for a while.
That
Good
didn't
place
work
to
out
do
too
it.
long.
Yeah.
Thanks to Vernon Maxwell, we do know that they do have internet in Utah, so let's not say anything disparaging. But the Spurs should be thinking disparaging things as they hopefully put it on this team. One thing to note, uh, I didn't expect the. I mean, I asked for blowouts last time. I didn't expect them to come against the Thunder. The Spurs have won their last 5 games by an average of 20 points.
Whew,
So
Ask and you shall receive, Tom.
man.
get some Sohan minutes in this one. Get some mop unit in this game.
Yeah. Next game. Speaking of Donovan Mitchell, uh, Cleveland Cavaliers will come to San Antonio on Monday. Look, this has been kind of probably one of the more disappointing teams in the league, if not the biggest one, currently, just with where they stand. But I will say from watching that Knicks game with them yesterday that they looked a little bit more whole as a team. The previous game that we played against them, Bismack Biyombo was starting. Blue Cornet had that sore ankle. Um, this is a team that I think is still trying to figure itself out. Um, it's kind of weird doing these and being like, yeah, the Spurs should win that. The Spurs should win that. I mean, they're going to drop something, like for sure. But to kind of go into it with this type of confidence is definitely different from a season ago. What do you guys got on this one?
Steph Castle needs. This is a Steph Castle game. Stifle the head of the snake. Donovan Mitchell, great player. He's on a tear. So this is your perfect ideal matchup. Why you have Steph Castle as your point of attack defender every single time. This is a proper matchup for him, and it's to get your lick back. Also, just I mentioned earlier, these are just games that I just want to see this team stay consistent, stay to their brand, and just get into the lane and force the issue, and we'll see where the chips fall. I mean, Cleveland's good, but I think the Spurs are very good.
I mean you kind of touched on it, Aaron. Like Spurs are if we're all asserting this that right now. I mean, I'm certainly asserting it that right now the Spurs are the best team in the NBA. So I expect them to. In my brain, they're favored in all of these games, right? The Cavs are interesting because they're an interesting matchup for the Spurs and a Wemby-led team, right? They have a lot of length, a lot of talented defenders with great size. Mobley, like Victor, suffered a calf strain. Like Victor is coming off the bench as he reintegrates. Unlike Victor, uh, Vic was 2 to 3 weeks he was out for. Uh, Mobley was like 4 weeks, came back in two, and to play on Christmas, and said he felt good, but the I think that might kind of speak to sort of the desperation level in Cleveland right now, as they're having not quite as disappointing a start to the season as the Clippers, but definitely underperforming expectations. Right? They got a lot of talent on that team, and they thought they had the Knicks on Christmas, man, and then man, New York on Christmas magic. That was beautiful.
Dude, Donovan
Um,
Mitchell with like one of the dunks of the year, and then they just fall
yep.
asleep, giving OG just like an open layup, like at the end of the game. It was just like you guys are
I
this
love when
close, and then you miss out on the details of that sort of thing.
I love when a tomahawk gets all the way back to 180 degrees, then to 0 degrees.
Dude,
Like
he cocked
that's
that back. I,
hot.
I always forget like Donovan
Woo!
Mitchell like has that. Did y'all ever see that video of him like putting it twice through his legs and then dunking it?
Yeah, he's a dog, man.
Yeah,
I've never
he
seen
plays
it,
the
but it
Spurs
doesn't
off.
surprise me, you
Yeah,
know?
he's kind of someone who like underrated. I feel like with his athleticism because he's probably one of the most athletic dudes in the league. But anyway, we'll see about this Cavs game. Then New Year's Eve, get your resolutions ready, get your ins and outs lists ready. However you want to get your shit together going into 2026. The Spurs are going to try to get their shit together against the only team that I can't say technically here. There was a game that was on national television that, at the end of it, the Knicks had a higher score than the Spurs and they won the NBA Cup final, but it's not a loss. So I don't really know how to describe it. But
The
regardless,
Spurs lost the game, but did the game happen? It's hard to say.
it's like Reggie Bush's Heisman campaign.
It
Like,
definitely didn't count, but it also mattered. But the Knicks are the only other National Basketball Association basketball team that has defeated the San Antonio Spurs in a game of basketball in the month of December. I
yeah,
think
I mean,
we got to run that by legal, but I think that's
the Spurs have
all
lost other
true.
games in December.
Yeah, but other than that,
Yeah. Um, Regardless, this is as Spurs fans, if once again you're looking for a barometer game of the week, this is definitely the one for it. It's going to be in San Antonio, which is going to be great. It's actually going to be a little early, 6 o'clock tip. Um, Mitchell Robinson is still doing volleyball offensive rebounding things out there. I maybe this is going to be a chance to see a little bit of French vanilla, but like, look, Mitch Johnson put it in for like all of maybe a minute yesterday against the Thunder, and I was basically like, okay, go get a rebound. And then the Thunder got an offensive rebound. There was a stoppage in play. I was like, we're not doing that anymore. This might be for just any time that Cat and Mitchell Robinson are on the court to implement. But look, this Knicks team, they're still good. They've actually lost 2 games since the NBA Cup final to the Timberwolves and the 76ers. And they're still dogs. They still got Josh Hart. They still got Jalen Brunson. Anytime Cat gets hot, we'll see. I'll be very interested to see if they try to figure out a way to draw Wemby out of the paint. Not something that any team is really able to do at the moment. What do you guys got on this one?
Man, this is a get your lick back game on a game that didn't count, but this one counts. So let's make sure to win this one because this one goes to the record, full all time record book. Last one, 10 years from now, I won't remember it, but this one we'll remember. And so this is a big game for a lot of reasons. You were the better team for 3 quarters a few weeks ago. You were the better team. You showed that. You just didn't show that you could close a big time game. And I'm excited to see what they've learned from that. I think we've seen for the last few games after that loss that they have taken something from that loss against the Knicks and implemented it to what the team is doing now. Mentality change, whatever it was, it definitely snapped them into gear and said, okay, we belong here and we can do this. I think this is the get your lick back game. This is a week of lick back, get your lick backs on 2 losses this year. One that counted, one that didn't count. We'll make them both count this week.
so I think the Cavs actually are the only other team,
Mm-hmm.
right, that has beaten the Spurs in December. But so I think that what you're talking about with what they took from the cup, and they got it in both of those games in Vegas for a variety of reasons. Chief among them was the opponents that they played. The Thunder and the Knicks are incredibly physical teams, right? The Knicks, like, their whole identity is built around it's 5 dudes in Timbs just stomping you out all game.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered when they got Karl Anthony Towns how he would fit, as a guy who, like, there are questions about his physical edge, right? Is he going to soften that team dynamic? No. He is playing the most, like, physically aggressive basketball that I've seen from him, right? And that's all over the court. I was watching that game yesterday on Christmas as the Knicks are making this insane comeback at the Garden, and Mitchell Robinson rebounding against that guy is like you are skateboarding in an avalanche. Like you need heavy construction equipment out there to get a rebound against that guy. And that was an X factor in the Spurs game. That was something that the Spurs are going to need to figure out in this game if they want to win. So it is really, really cool to see. This is a great team. This is the best team in the East. Is this is a potential finals preview, like for Zach, and kind of it it wouldn't shock me if these teams face off in the NBA finals this year. Actually, now.
Well, before we get to our records for the week, whatever you guys want to call, um, Wemby in the starting lineup this week, yay or nay? What y'all think?
Nah.
I I think he's been Wally pipped. I think they keep saying, oh, we got to be real careful with his calf. I think what they don't want to say is that Luke Cornett is icon status, and the politics of benching him at this point are just way too fraught.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think that they disrupt the flow with you know
But you heard
now a
Mitch
Luke
Johnson's
Cornett
comment
led team.
yesterday. He's like, if we go to three overtime, this game goes to three overtimes, Wimby's not playing. Like, we are strictly on these minutes, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. This team is winning. Wimby is play Wimby 25 minutes a game and just nuke teams on the offensive defensive end for 25 minutes. It obviously is working.
For anybody
Yeah,
wondering what he has to do to qualify for Sixth Man of the Year, he's got to play the 65 and he's got to come off the bench more games than he starts, right? And as funny of a bit as it would be for him to do that and win Sixth Man of the Year, I think somebody rightly pointed out to me on Twitter that he would be taking it away from his teammate Keldon Johnson. So
Sure.
he'll probably he probably wouldn't want to do that. So, but still, very funny concept, very funny idea.
there was something I read that was basically like there's still kind of a 4 week recovery with this team. Wemby came back on December 13th. This is December 26th. So I think we still have at least 2 more weeks of him actually coming off the bench right now, before maybe trying to hit that 28 to 30 minute mark. I'm kind of with y'all. Like, I don't have a problem with it. Like, teams winning, there's good chemistry all around with it, anyway. But yeah, I don't actually see it. So as we wrap up, record for the week, Tom, you're always the positive Pete on this. So I feel like I know where you're going with this, but what do you got for this week?
I mean, I have to say 3-0. Like the Spurs, the Spurs to me are unbeatable until they're beaten.
What
That's
do you
where
get?
they're at right now.
What do you got, Zach?
3-0.
It's the real head and heart dilemma here.
Next game's gonna be tough.
Yeah, next game's be tough.
I'm gonna still go 2-1 here. I'm gonna go 2-1.
Okay.
Uh, sometimes it's just better podcasting to have a difference of opinion. Well, y'all, that's another episode of the Silver and Black Coffee Hour. Um, gosh, I'm hyped, y'all. This is
We can go for another hour, AB. You sure you want to stop?
I gotta go get lunch. But what do you guys got to say before we sign off?
Tom?
Uh, Merry Christmas to all. Um, I hope it's not 1-2 because then if the Cavs and Knicks both get it done, then we got to talk about if they're the best teams in the league now. But no, I am excited about this Spurs basketball team, man. I'm excited about this coming year of Spurs basketball, this coming year of Silver and Black Coffee Hour, covering this team with you boys. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, like, subscribe, comment. Got a lot of stuff going on Spurs on SI as well. Some deeper stories on some of the stuff we talked about today. But yeah, I'm in a great mood. I'm always in a great mood when the Spurs are playing this good.
What do you got, Zach?
Yeah, you know, The next time you'll see us, it'll be 2026. So I do want to give a big shout out to everybody who supported us in 2025 and helped the brand grow even more. This was a big year for this podcast. This was a fantastic year for all three of us personally with what we're doing in this kind of space. So I do want to say shout out to these two boys for killing it this year, for doing things for living out some of our dreams. This is a big deal
It's a,
for us three.
it's a hell of a
Um,
Freudian slip there, the Grand Bro. I'm gonna start calling you that.
yeah, what
The
you
Grand
get
Bro, Zach
you
Montana.
you get what I'll say, but just want to say I appreciate everybody in 2025, and life's shown ups and downs, but the Spurs team is making it easy to get through. So happy New Year, go Spurs, go! We love all y'all.
Absolutely. I want to actually share a sentiment from Dan, who I got to talk with during halftime at the OKC Spurs game on Tuesday. Um, Shout out to Dan. Thank you for following us, and it was a real pleasure getting to meet you with my boy Evan. And Dan actually sent me this really nice text message afterwards, and he was talking about right now is the sweet spot of being a fan of this team. At some point, the success actually becomes a burden. It becomes like uh, if we don't win a championship, like it's a disappointment. And the previous years have been rough too, because it's like, well, when are we going to get out of this wilderness? And so, this place as a fan right now is our sweet spot. We're ahead of schedule. We're developing expectations. We're kind of developing that new emotion of expectations. Have Zach texting us after that NBA Cup final game of like, I hate it here, and that's because expectations are growing. That's because there's this different type of hope around this team. So before we all get into like, oh man, those were the good old days. My encouragement to all of us on the Silver and Black Coffee Hour and to anybody that's listening, just remember we're right now in the thick of the good old days. This is the good time. And so embrace that, enjoy that, bring in other Spurs fans. If there's someone out there that's like, what's a team to follow? Say the San Antonio Spurs. Because this is the
And
best
it's
time right
before
now.
everybody else hates them because of how good they are,
Yes,
right?
and there will be a time when people hate them. There will be a time when people find Wemby annoying and all that. So I want to shout out Dan for bringing out that sentiment. I think it's great. We'll probably talk about it more as the season goes along. But thank you guys all for following, for listening to us, for giving us any of your time in the last year. We plan on being probably better in 2026. We'll find out for the next show, which will be in the new year. So appreciate y'all. Go Spurs, go. We'll see y'all out there. Peace.
See you next year.